Bihari. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachare. Yamunatira Vanachare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachare. Yamunatira Vanachare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachare. Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotar Sadashishimadaisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotar Sadashishimadaisi Goswami Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Dwarka Dham Ki Jai Jaganpuri Dham Ki Jai Gangamaya Munamaya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Simhachalam Dham Ki Jai Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we are reading today from Bhagavad Gita. Welcome everybody. And I choose a verse from the 7th chapter. Anyone knows what is the 7th chapter called? Knowledge of the Absolute. Does anyone know one of the famous verses from the 7th chapter? There are some. We will hear one today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from the 7th chapter, verse number 14. Very famous verse. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapatyante mayam itam tarantite. Please repeat. Daivi, transcendental. He, certainly. Esha, this. Gunamayi, consisting of the three modes of material nature. Mama, my, Maya, energy. Duratyaya, very difficult to overcome. Mam, unto me. Eva, certainly. Ye, those who. Prapatyante, surrender. Mayam etam, this illusory energy. Taranti, overcome. Te, they. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Abhay Jarana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Please repeat. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies and are therefore divine, due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to contamination by the inferior matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya Baddha, or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature, due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyan, mayinam tu maheshvaram. Although Maya, or illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshvara, the supreme controller. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 4.10. Another meaning of guna is rope. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound, because the bound cannot help the bound. The rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna, who is bona fide representative, or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity, who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. And therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu, only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Raja Guna, passion, and Tamo Guna, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas, Shvedashvatara Upanishad 3.8 confirm this in the phrase Tammeva Viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnur Evana Sangshayaha. And there is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Vaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvaram Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Putale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vairagya Yak Bhaktira Samprayatnair Apayana Mamana Pipsum Antam Kripam Budirya Paraduka Tuki Sanatanastvam Prabhum Ashrayame Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavipyo Namo Nama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Daivihi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Evaye Prapatyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Hare Krishna. First of all, actually it is said in the word-to-word translation, very difficult. The verse is translated with, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. Actually, in the purport, in the word-to-word, it said it is very difficult to overcome. So it's an important point, because our situation is very serious. This philosophy is very serious. And I want to ask you in detail, what is very difficult to overcome for us? Is described here. You want first?
Material attachment.
Material attachment, okay. You?
Actually, I also wanted to say.
You wanted to say the same thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
Material desires.
Good. Someone else? Hare Krishna. One more, yeah?
Identifying with the body.
Identifying with the body, okay.
It's material illusion.
The material illusion. One word, yes. One very important word, illusion, you mentioned. Thank you very much. Because the illusion, we are actually pure spirit soul, but in spite of this fact, we hear that we are eternal servants of Krishna. The conditioned soul in the material world is called Nitya Bhata, which means eternally conditioned. So how to understand this? This is the word, because the illusion is eternal, and therefore the conditioned soul is called Nitya-bhata, or eternally conditioned, and for that purpose no one can find out when it started, when the conditioned state of being started. And because of this fact, that we cannot go back to the root when we started this conditioned life, because of this, it is very difficult to become free from the material nature. But still, here in the Prabhupada explains really detail what is impossible. Let's say impossible. Not only very difficult, but impossible for the living entity to overcome. It is not even the material nature we hear in the verse. This divine energy, Krishna says, is very difficult to overcome, but we get the detailed information. Prabhupada says the material energy is under the will of the Supreme Lord. And the living entity cannot overcome the will of the Supreme Lord. If Krishna wants something, then that's a fact, and no one can do anything against it. If Krishna wants to save somebody, no one can do harm to him, can kill him. If Krishna wants that someone dies and wants to kill someone, no one can help him and rescue him. This is the definition of the Supreme Lord. He is all-powerful. No one is bigger and greater than him. This is Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no one can overcome his will. Therefore, it is illusion to think somehow or other manage it in this world. It is an illusion to think I have done it. It is an illusion to think I can do it. It is an illusion to think everything is all right. Because if Krishna wants, he can does like this, and he can turn everything upside down. Sarvasya chaham hriti sanivishto mathasmritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvaira ame vedo vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. From Krishna comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and intelligence. If Krishna does not want you to remember something, you will not be able to remember something, no matter how good you were studying. No matter how many times you have done something. If Krishna lets you forget something, you will forget. So this will of Krishna is basically impossible for us to overcome. Therefore, the solution is the reasonable solution, the very sober solution for a living entity. Hearing this explanation of Prabhupada is, let's just surrender to Krishna. Let us surrender and not fight against Krishna's will and plan with our own plan and will. Let us cooperate with Krishna's desire and surrender and serve him. And by so doing, actually this is the only way we can overcome, which is described here as very difficult to overcome, the material energy, this illusionary state of being. And a very interesting that Srila Prabhupada continues, and we hear the word Maheshvara is quoted from the Shvetashvara Upanishad. Although Maya illusion is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshvara, the supreme controller. And immediately those who are familiar with Vedic knowledge, they think, hey, wait a minute, Maheshvara, who says that this is Krishna? It could also be, for example, Shiva, because we hear that Maheshvara is another name of Shiva, isn't it? You may think this. And then you continue reading, and then Prabhupada, he frees us from our doubts, because he mentions the name Brahma and Shiva, that even in comparison to Brahma and Shiva, not only Vishnu is able to release us from the clutches of Maya. Even Shiva personally says so. Even Shiva personally, he himself worships Sankarshan as his worshipable Lord. He meditates upon Sankarshan. So therefore the conclusion is, Krishna, Vishnu, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And only by surrendering unto Krishna's lotus feet, we will become free from this actually inferior energy. Inferior even in comparison to the living entity, to the spirit soul, who is actually part of Krishna's superior energy. With these verses, this chapter starts that Krishna explains the material elements out of which the universe are created. And then he says, aparayam idam tu anyam prakritim vitime param jiva mukta mahabaho yayadam taryate jagat. But the living entities, they are belonging to his superior energy, and they are trying to exploit the sources of material nature. They try to lord it over. They try to lord over what? And a creation which is only made of 3 modes of material nature: rajas, tamas, and sattva. Ignorance and passion and goodness. And Krishna explains that everything which is going on in this material world is actually part of his energy. Everything is Krishna's energy. In this sense, Krishna says, one could say, I am everything, but I am not part of this illusion, I am not in this illusion. On the contrary, the modes of material nature are working under my guidance, they are in me. Yechaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamashash chaye. And then he continues, Tribhir gunamaya hirpavair epi sarvam idam jagat. And then Daivihesha gunamaya mamaya duratyaya. So when we explain this wonderful philosophy that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that our only way how to come out of this illusion in which we are now is to surrender to Krishna and to accept that Krishna is God. If we hear these wonderful poetic-like sentences from this purpose of Srila Prabhupada, then one of a doubtful mind could say, well, that's all right, but that is what you believe. And everyone is allowed to believe what he wants, isn't it? Yes. And then we continue with the next verse, and we can say, yes, you're right, and therefore Krishna continues in the next verse. He says, Namam tushkritino muta prapatyante naradama mayaya paritakyana asuram param ashrita. The fools and rascals who do not surrender unto me are of 4 kinds. The lowest of mankind, the Naradamas, 99% of the population nowadays is Naradamas, working hard like animals. And Mayaya Paritakyana, those whose knowledge is stolen by the material energy, so-called philosophers and thinkers and scientists, talking about things which are actually of no value. Writing so many books which are of no value. Talking about things which is of no value. Simply a waste of time. Everything will be finished at a certain point of the creation. And therefore, they are Mayaya Paritakyana. Their so-called knowledge is stolen, covered by the illusory energy of Krishna. And then, of course, we have the Mudhas, the rascals, and the demons, Asuras, those who are really envious of Krishna. And they express it also practically by trying to fight with Krishna. Some of the demons, they have the great mercy to directly be able to fight with Krishna, also for the pleasure of Krishna. You know, he comes into the material world to fight with the demons, because in the spiritual world there is no possibility to fight with demons. There are only devotees. Just to keep the body fit, Prabhupada says, he appears and out of fun fights with the demons, tears them apart. Like yesterday we saw this very beautiful dancing, for those of you who have seen, very impressive how the dancer, she expressed the killing of Hiranyakashipu on the level of Narasimhadev. It was a very, very wonderful performance, wasn't it? So very impressive. And yes, it is wonderful what Krishna is doing. And we are meant, surrendering to Krishna means to surrender and to always think of Krishna and to always glorify Krishna for whatever he does. And a devotee is he whose words are all glorification of Krishna. No matter what he says, what he talks, he glorifies Krishna. because he has a very pure heart. He is connected with Krishna in his heart very intimately. And he has no other interest than pleasing the Lord, pleasing Krishna. May Krishna be pleased with what I do. Please accept my service. And Krishna is very favorable, although he doesn't need anything. He is not hungry, but still because out of love, he accepts what is cooked for him by his devotees who has a pure heart. So our only chance is to come in contact with Krishna through his beloved devotees who are serving him, because no one can directly go to Krishna by ignoring his devotees, his beloved devotees. Even to worship the devotees is more important or higher to be understood than worship of Krishna himself. So therefore we have this wonderful opportunity here in this movement to glorify Srila Prabhupada, for what he lived, for what he have done, for what he has given us, for what we have inherited from him. And these are all these amazing purports, and every single sentence we hear here has such a deep meaning. You can go into it and think about it and analyze it, and you will come to the conclusion that, Prabhupada, you are a genius. It's amazing. It is wonderful. Your books are amazing. What you have done within a very short time is so big, I cannot even appreciate if I would try my whole lifetime. So every single moment, I do not glorify your books is actually a waste of time. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada, for these wonderful books. Please give me some entrance into this nectar. Please give me your blessings so that I can go into it and study and soak it like a sponge. Let me become a sponge who soaks your Bhaktivedanta purports. And at the right moment, when the right moment is there, please press the sponge and let all the nectar come out. And this is what we are meant for in this movement, to become soaked with all these Bhaktivedanta purports, and then going out on the street and approaching people, excuse me, and what happens then? Then Prabhupada will press the sponge and all the nectar will come out, and we will talk to the people and we will give all this nectar to the people, and there is no space anymore for any doubt. There is no thinking. There is simply, okay, I just take it. Okay, I just accept it. Okay, let me just eat the gulab jamun, let me just eat the halava, let me just read the book, let me just take the instrument and play for Krishna. Okay, let me just take it and do it. Let me not think and do doubt, just let me surrender. Okay, I surrender. That's all. That's our duty, to do it by ourselves and to teach others how to surrender unto the sweet Lord, to sweet Krishna, by giving pleasure to him. And there may be, it sounds very easy. It's very easy because it's very joyful and playful, and Krishna is joyful and playful. But we, realistically speaking, can find ourselves in situations where there are obstacles, where there are coming troubles, where there are problems which we cannot explain. What is it and where does it come from? And I want to share with you a nice pastime on this point now from the wonderful Krishna book, which also Srila Prabhupada gave us. And because now we had an interesting and intense time, which was dedicated to actually the sacrifice for this age. Kali, the age is Kali Yuga, and it said Kali Kalyara Dharma, Krishna Nama, Sankirtana, Krishna Shakti Vinanahe Tara Pravartana. The fundamental religious system in the age of Kali Yuga is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Unless one is Krishna Shakti, empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. So this sacrifice of Sankirtan we did now a few weeks, and there may be some obstacles that we have experienced. There may be some intolerance, some impatience, some fear, some hesitation, some laziness, some doubt, and so many things. The list can continue and continue, point after point, which are obstacles. Why we do not let the fire of Sankirtan burn bigger and bigger. This fire, sacrificial fire, is meant to explode. We should do really big, actually. We should only meditate and think about this. This Sankirtan, this propagating of Krishna's glories, and this relishing by ourselves and giving to others. How can we give it more and more mercy to the people and give Krishna out more and more? We should want this, actually. This desire should be there. Everyone must know. Everyone has to hear. Everyone should surrender to Krishna. Everyone should come to Krishna and experience the sweetness of Krishna. So this actually is the yajna. And we know, some do a pretty small fire, but there are also kings like Janamejaya, and they are doing really big, made a really big fire for the purpose of killing all the snakes, because one of the snakes killed his father, Maharaj Parikshit. So he did really big. So our desire should also be, let us do big, bigger and bigger. We want to do more, to please Krishna more, to give Krishna more. Shri Prahlad Lakshmana Singh Bhagavan Ki Jai. But yes, there are. What is it? Why it's not happening? What is it that it's not exploding? What is there? So similarly, like these Naradamas and these Mudas, Krishna says he appears from time to time to finish the demons and to re-establish real religion and to give pleasure and joy to his devotees, to release them from their fear. So in the same way, Lord Balaram also thought, actually it is I appear, he thought like this, to kill the demons and to punish the fools and rascals. That's Krishna's duty. And it is wonderful when he does it. And when Lord Balaram came to the assembly of the sages of Naimisharanya, he also thought about the Romaharshana, that actually he is a fool and a rascal. Because I come here and he does not get up from the Vyasa-san and show me his respect. What is this? And then he thought, I have to punish him. And we just heard during the marathon in another temple a lecture from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where all the Vishnu expansions are described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are 24 Vishnu expansions, and they are different to each other in that sense that in whichever hand, they have 4 hands, Narayana and Vishnu, they have 4 hands. They hold the symbols, it's different. For example, one expansion of Krishna, in his left upper hand holds the lotus, in his left in his left upper hand he holds the club, and then comes the conch, and then comes the disc. So the other expansion of Vishnu is different. There comes the club, then comes the disc, then comes the conch, then comes the flower. Like this, if you analyze and think about it, you have one Vishnu form with 4 hands, and you have 4 items. So if you think about it, how many options is there in one Vishnu form that you can place these different items differently? Are we able to think so late in the night? Huh? Can you just imagine Lord Vishnu standing with 4 hands, and now you have the 4 items. You have a disc, you have a club, you have a flower, lotus flower, and you have the conch. So how many different options you have to put it on Vishnu?
24.
Really? Why? How does it work? Are you sure?
Because you said before.
Huh?
Because you said before.
Because I said before. Okay. Let's do mathematics another time. It's these 4 items. It is in one. It is described, for example, in the example of Dhruva Maharaj, that Vishnu or Krishna he uses the club and the disc to punish the demons, and he uses the lotus flower and the conch shell to bless his devotees. For example, when Dhruva Maharaj attained darshan of Lord Vishnu appeared before him and he held the conch shell on the forehead of him, and in this way he blessed him. So in the morning when we are doing the worship of Narasimhadev, we are reciting the verses from the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is described that he kills the demons and the rogues with his weapons like disc, club, conch shell, and lotus flower. Interesting. So he can also use his flower, or he can also use the conch to kill the demons. And similarly, Lord Balaram, he thought, this rascal Romaharshana did not offer me respect, so I just kill him. So he just took a blade of grass and picked him, he just touched him a little bit, and in this way he killed him while he was sitting on the Vyasasan. And usually when the Lord performs a pastime or kills a demon, the devotees, they are shouting, Haribol, Haribol, like the devotees were shouting when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Haribol, Haribol, wonderful, Krishna, what you're doing is very nice. Please continue. Like the damsels in Vrindavan when Krishna is dancing, they are saying, Krishna, very wonderful, it's very sweet, you're doing very nice, please continue. So similarly, everything which Krishna does is wonderful, but at that time when Balaram killed Romaharshana sitting on the Vyasasan, the sages which were assembled, they were like crying, oh no, what have you done? We just gave him the blessing that he will have a long life and all opulence, and we put him on the Vyasasan so that he can speak nicely about the Srimad Bhagavatam, and now you came and you killed him. Okay, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's all right. Balaram, we accept it. But everything you do, it's fine. But we have one request. So please make our word come true. What we spoke should come true. He should have a long life and be equipped with all wonderful opulences. And then Balaram said, all right, I can do this. I bring him back to life. And then they said, no, this is not what we want, because it was your decision and you wanted to kill him. So we also don't want that you bring him back to life again, although you can do it, because then your word will not be fulfilled. And we also want that your word will be fulfilled, because you're the Supreme Lord. And then we may think, how is it possible to combine this contradiction? What did Balaram do? Therefore the word Prabhu is used in the Bhagavatam. He is the master. He managed the situation by saying the son is not different from the father. So Sutta Goswami, the son of Romaharshana, he should sit on the Vyasasan and he should speak and he should have a long life and all opulences. So in this way he managed this. Wonderful. And then the sages from Naimisharanya, they continued, they said, well, for you it's not a problem to do so, Lord Balaram, but just for the sake of teaching others, please, you should do some atonement, because you just killed a brahmana on the Vyasasan. Maybe you should do something to regret it a little bit or something like that. And then usually we see that Balaram actually he is of a character. When we read the Krishna book, there are quite some pastimes where Balaram shows what it means to become angry. Not a little bit angry. He just wants to put a whole city into the ocean and stuff like this. So he can become pretty angry, Balaram. And the sages, they dared to say to Balaram, we think you should do some atonement because you've done something wrong in that sense. And Balaram, he said, okay, I accept it, if you say so. please tell me, what do you want? You tell me. So the sages, they thought, and they thought about the demon Balvala. And it's actually said that this was the last demon that Balaram killed. We find demons being killed by Krishna as well as by Balaram, but there is a significant difference. Anyone of you heard about the difference of Krishna's killing the demons and Balaram killing the demons? Please, honestly, don't shout it out, but just please mention it if you heard it or know it. Anyone? Yes?
Denukasura was an ass.
Yes?
The other one was a calf. So it was an animal, or they have taken the form of animals.
They have taken form of animals. Yes, true. Who killed Denukasura?
I think it was Balaram.
It was Balaram. And the calf demon? It was Krishna. It was Krishna. So the difference is that simply by hearing how Krishna kills the demons, simply by hearing it or reading it, we will get a benefit. For example, in order to become free from lust, you should hear about Krishna's dancing with the gopis. You should hear about the rasa dance if you are interested in becoming free from lust in order to serve Krishna. Then you should hear. Because on the other hand, we get the instruction, if you hear and you are lusty, then you should not read it. So if you hear Krishna's pastimes with the gopis and you are lusty, you should immediately stop, because otherwise you will go to hell. And on the other hand, if you are lusty, you should hear and read, because you will become free from lust. How can we understand this contradiction? And there is this one word which is given by His Holiness Shivara Maharaj, Vishaya, that the one person, a devotee, he really wants to become free. His interest is to serve Krishna. Please, Krishna, I want to serve you, but there is this one intense obstacle. Atakena prayuktayam pabmam charadi purusha anichchanapi varshneya palat ivani yochidaha kama esha kroda esha rachaguna samutpava mahasano mahapabma vidyanam yavairam. The lust, this great enemy, is there. So please let me become free from lust. Really, I want to really become free from lust. Not like, okay, I've understood. No, I really want. That means I don't want to be interested in this enjoyment on the material platform, this sex enjoyment. I want to overcome it for you, like really. And Maya then tests, what do you really want to give this up? Do you really want it? Yeah, this is what we... When a devotee or a spirit soul has this interest, then you should read. Then you should hear. Then it will help you. But on the other hand, if you try to find something which helps you to enjoy the material platform and to enjoy still sex life in the material world, on whatever degree, and you use this pastime for increasing this, then that means hellish life. Then you should not try to enter into it. So this is the difference. So a devotee, he should hear, and simply by hearing how it is wonderfully explained, how the gopis, they are hearing Krishna's flute, and whatever they are doing, not even thinking about it a moment. If there is a baby who is drinking, if there is the milk standing on the oven, whatever they are decorating themselves, immediately they just let it go and go to Krishna. They were decorated somehow in a weird way. Some gopis, they dressed their upper garments and do the downer and upside down, and whatever, not important, just go to Krishna immediately, without thinking. So, just to hear this and to read this will have such a wonderful effect that we will become pure by hearing about these pure devotees who are only interested in pleasing Krishna and giving joy and pleasure to Krishna out of your love. Out of love. No trace of lust. No trace of what is there in it for me. Not a single thinking about what will I get out of it. No. It's not about me. Let whatever happens with me, let it happen. But may Krishna be pleased. Let the whole world go to hell. But if Krishna is pleased, then it is all right. Kill them. Fight. Because it pleases me. Yeah, but these are my relatives. Not important. If it pleases me, then it is all right. So this is our philosophy. The desire of Krishna. Krishna's will is important. Krishna's will. We want to follow Krishna's will. And whatever anyone else wants, desires, or does us, it is in this section of the Bhagavatam in the 7th canto, Prabhupada says actually that what we are not respecting the orders or the instructions of the demons. A devotee does not respect the orders or instructions of the demons. So we are following the order of Krishna under all circumstances. We want to. Please, Krishna, engage me in your service. Please let me have this strong faith. And we will be tested in our spiritual life. We will be tested when Maya will come. Do we think of Krishna? So anyway, so simply by hearing about Krishna's pastimes, we will become free from this lust, for example. But if we hear Balaram's pastimes, which are also giving us credits and benefits, then what's the difference? In Balaram's pastimes, we have to make an endeavor. You have to sit down and you have to think about it. What can I do? I have to work on myself. I have to do something about it. That's the difference. So Balaram, he got like this advice, or this how to say, not instruction. Yeah, let's say this instruction. So they said, the great sages of Naimisharana, they said, you should do some atonement. There is this demon, Balvala, and every 14 days, when we are preparing our sacrifice, for doing the yajna, this demon comes and he lets pour down impure things like stool, urine, alcohol, and all these things. And in this way, he contaminates the place of sacrifice. And we cannot perform our sacrifice. So please, Balaram, if you want to do some atonement, please kill him. Kill this demon. Balaram said, okay. So after 14 days, it started to smell. Some weather came, bad weather, and started to smell, and the demon appeared. Fearsome demon, blackish, huge. His beard was in the color of copper. His eyes were copper red. And he flew up into the air. We can imagine like Trinavarta. And Balaram, he took his plow, and he catched him, and he brought him down, and he took his club, and he smashed it on his face, and blood came, a huge flood of blood, and the demon was finished. Very simple. That's Balaram. Very easy. You know, in this marathon, when I was distributing books, I was so fortunate enough by Krishna's mercy that I met one of the Maharatis from the past generation, book distribution Maharatis. And I was talking to him a little bit, and it was very astonishing to me. He also, when he talked about his results from the past, how he distributed many books, he said, easy. You know, easy, very easy. So Balaram also, he killed a demon, very easy. No problem for him. So we can compare, we can think. Are we interested? Are we interested in doing the Yuga Dharma? Are we interested in relishing the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet, tasting the higher taste? Are we interested in serving Krishna? Are we interested in becoming a devotee of Krishna? How do we have faith, or are there some obstacles? So all these obstacles, whatever it may be, let us think about it. Let us sit down, let us take a paper, let us take a pen, and let us write down our obstacles in our Krishna consciousness. Can you give me some words? Just give me some words. Lack of faith. What else is there? Please. Laziness. Okay. Something more. Making offenses, that is very good. Angriness. Confusion. What is the Sanskrit term? Mada? So, they're like the six enemies. Do you think about this? Mada? Huh? Lust, anger, greed, bewilderment, or these six. Yeah, wonderful. All these things are there. So I would like to give this inspiration or this meditation just for the new year. Let's make a new year plan. We want to perform the yajna, the yuga dharma, and there are obstacles. So please, Lord Balaram, as you have killed the demon Balvala, who made it impossible for the sages of Naimisharanya to perform their yajna. Similarly, please, Balaram, help me, help us as a society, as a congregation, as a family, as a temple congregation, whatever, or me individually. Help us to become free from these impurities, from these contaminations, in order to let increase the number of books being distributed. Year to year, marathon after marathon. There is no limit. This is the great desire. The great desire, we can be sure, if we follow this order of our wonderful founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, that please print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. Distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. If we follow this, and even if we simply think, how can I do it, then we are safe. And if we read them, and if we talk about them, if we keep them in the center of our life, and live according to it, then our path back to home, back to Godhead is sure, is safe. So, this is an inspiration I would like to share with you at this opportunity that I am allowed to sit here and speak. Krishna can help us to become free from the impurities. Balaram can also help us. There are so many blessings in the Krishna book, opportunities that we can become free. For example, you mentioned nicely the calf demon. Do you know actually the name? Anyone knows the name of the calf demon? It's very simple, because Vatsasura. And there is in every demon that Krishna kills or Balaram kills, there's a special blessing. And I remember there was one devotee who made a whole seminar, and I attended this seminar accidentally, and he mentioned actually the calf demon, Vatsasura. And it's very interesting that Vatsasura stands for childishness, because he thought Krishna likes cows. So I just come as a calf and try to harm him. If it doesn't work, no matter, I'm a calf. Krishna does not do anything to a calf, so I'm safe. But this is a childish thinking, that we can think we can hide anything from Krishna. He just killed him, although he was a calf. So you cannot cheat Krishna by childish thinking. So this way we can also become free from childishness. Is there some childishness? Oh, there are so many things in us, isn't it? But Krishna will help. Krishna will help, and Balaram will also help. And let us, I would like to share this, let us do maybe make a plan how to make a concrete effort. That we try from our side also to work on ourselves. Not just to let it go, to let go and see what comes by itself. We are not the controller, that's true, but Krishna also, the endeavor must also be there. The endeavor and Krishna's mercy. So one endeavor to work on ourselves practically, and the mercy of Krishna. These two together, they will allow us to bind Krishna. Like on the Yashoda was these two fingers, they were missing. So, yes. In this way, Hare Krishna. I would like to stop here. Maybe anyone wants to mention something or add something or has any question. Otherwise, it's already pretty late. And these days, while we are here, anyone who is interested to come together and read together Krishna book, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that is very wonderful. Please let us do this. I am very eager to have your association, to sit together with you and hear about Krishna, read about Krishna, talk about this philosophy, and let us enlighten each other in this way. Okay. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Jai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Srila Prabhupada ki